Your mind is the most powerful thing you own. It is more powerful than your bank account, more powerful than your connections, more powerful than your education or your background or your circumstances. But right now, for most people reading this, that same mind is also the source of their greatest suffering, anxiety, overthinking, fear, confusion, and the relentless mental noise that never seems to stop no matter how hard you try. And here is the part that makes it even more frustrating. You have prayed about it, you have fasted about it, you have read self-help books, listened to podcasts, tried meditation apps and talked to people about it, and the chaos is still there, still loud, still draining, still stealing your peace the moment you wake up in the morning and following you all the way into the night before you sleep. But what if the answer was never in a technique, a program, or a method? What if the answer was a single divine command, one instruction from God Himself that has the power to completely rewire how your mind works, silence the internal chaos, and restore a peace so deep that the Bible says it surpasses human understanding entirely? Because that command exists. It has always existed, and most people have walked past it every single day of their lives. Philippians 4 verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. 1 verse 8 categories. 1 divine command. And Paul did not write this from a comfortable office or a peaceful retreat. He wrote it from a Roman prison cell, chained to a guard, facing possible execution, with no guarantee he would ever walk free again. That context changes everything about how you read that verse. Paul was not writing a motivational poster from a place of comfort and ease. He was writing from the darkest, most chaotic, most uncertain circumstances imaginable, and he was telling you that even there, even in that place, the mind could be mastered, the chaos could be ended, the peace could be found, not by changing the circumstances, but by changing what the mind was choosing to think about deliberately. The word think in that verse in the original Greek is logizomai. It does not mean a passing thought or a casual glance. It means to calculate, to reason, to deliberately dwell on, to make a conscious accounting of something. This is not passive thinking. This is active, intentional, disciplined thinking. God was not suggesting you occasionally notice positive things when life feels good. He was commanding you to deliberately, actively, and consistently direct your mind towards specific categories of thought every single day. This is the single divine command to master your mind. Not a dozen commands, not a complicated system. 1 command. Think deliberately. Think intentionally. Think about what God has pre-approved for your mind to dwell on. Because here is what most people do not understand about the mind. It does not think in a vacuum. It is always thinking about something. The only question is whether you are choosing what it thinks about or whether your circumstances, your past, your fears, and the enemy are choosing for you every single day. Let us go through each of the 8 categories Paul listed because each one is a weapon. Whatever is true, the first category is truth. And this is where most mental chaos begins, not with lies from other people, but with lies we have accepted about ourselves, about God, about our future, and about our worth. Your mind has been meditating on things that are simply not true. Old agreements made in painful moments that feel like facts but are actually fiction dressed up in familiar clothing. What is true about you right now? Not what your past says. Not what that person said to you 10 years ago that you have replayed 10,000 times since. Not what your feelings are screaming at you this morning. What does God say is true about you? Romans 8 verse 1, no condemnation. Romans 8 verse 37, more than a conqueror. Jeremiah 29 verse 11, plans to prosper you. Feed your mind on what is actually true and watch the chaos begin to lose its grip immediately. Whatever is noble. The word noble in Greek is semnos. It means dignified, worthy of respect, serious in the best possible sense. There is a category of thinking that elevates your mind and a category that degrades it. Hours of consuming content that celebrates moral failure, that gossips and mocks, that is crude and cheap and empty, that is the opposite of noble thinking, and the mind becomes what it consistently consumes. You cannot feed your mind garbage for hours and then wonder why it produces chaos. Whatever is right. What is right means what is aligned with God's standard, what is just, fair, and morally excellent. When your mind dwells on injustice done to you, on offenses rehearsed repeatedly, on the ways people have wronged you and the ways you plan to respond, you are not thinking on what is right. You are fueling a fire that will burn you long before it burns anyone else. Unforgiveness is not a wound you carry, it is a poison you choose to keep drinking while waiting for the other person to die from it. Whatever is pure. The Greek word here is hagnos. It means clean, uncontaminated, without mixture of wrong. The mind that dwells on impure images, impure fantasies, impure desires does not stay in those places without consequence. Every place your mind dwells consistently, your life eventually follows. The person who cannot control what their mind looks at and lingers on for long periods of time will find that the rest of their life begins to reflect those same patterns in ways they never intended or anticipated. Whatever is lovely. This is the category most people never even consider as a spiritual discipline. Lovely means that which calls forth love, that which is beautiful, that which is pleasing and gracious. When did you last deliberately dwell on something beautiful? The relationship that is actually working. The person who genuinely loves you. The answered prayer you have already forgotten because the new problem arrived so quickly. The sunrise this morning that happened whether you noticed it or not. Beauty is a gift from God that most anxious minds have completely stopped receiving. Whatever is admirable. What is admirable is what is worthy of a good report, what speaks well, what is of excellent reputation. The news cycle is designed to make you think the world is only darkness. And there is darkness, real darkness that deserves honest acknowledgement. But the mind that only consumes darkness, only discusses failure, only rehearses what is going wrong, eventually loses the capacity to see what is going right. And a mind that cannot see what is going right cannot generate the faith required to believe things will get better. And then Paul adds two final categories: whatever is excellent and whatever is praiseworthy. Excellent means of the highest quality, morally superior, virtue itself. Praiseworthy means deserving of praise, which ultimately points toward God. These two categories together form the climax of the command. Because a mind that thinks about excellence and praises God consistently is a mind that has found its true center. Praise is not what you do when life is good. Praise is what defeats the chaos when life is hard. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5 says we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. Take captive, that is military language. Paul knew that the mind is not a passive receiver, it is a battlefield. And on a battlefield you do not negotiate with the enemy. You take captive. You restrain. You bring under authority every thought that rises against the knowledge of God. This means you are not a victim of your own thinking. You are the commander of it. And you have been given full authority to govern what goes on in that space. Here is why this single command is so revolutionary and why it works when everything else has failed. Every other method for managing mental chaos tries to work from the outside in. Reduce your stress, change your environment, avoid triggers, find better coping mechanisms. All of these have value, but God's command works from the inside out. It does not wait for circumstances to improve before granting peace. It produces peace inside the chaos, inside the prison cell, inside the storm, because the source of the peace is not the circumstances. The source is the direction of the mind. Isaiah 26 verse 3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." Perfect peace, not partial peace, not peace on good days. Perfect peace available to the person whose mind is steadfast. The word steadfast there in Hebrew is samek. It means leaning upon, supported by, resting the full weight on. A mind that has leaned its full weight on God through deliberate thinking of true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy things, that mind receives a peace that has no natural explanation. So here is what you do starting today. Every morning before your mind fills with news, notifications, problems, and the noise of the day, you spend 5 minutes deliberately thinking through what is true about God and about you. What is noble in your life? What is right that you are grateful for? What is pure that you want to protect? What is lovely that you can appreciate? What is admirable that you can acknowledge? What is excellent that you can pursue? And what is praiseworthy that you can offer back to God right now? This is not positive thinking. Positive thinking tells you to ignore what is real and pretend everything is fine. This is biblical thinking, which means you look at reality honestly and then deliberately choose to anchor your mind to what is true, good, and God-approved, rather than letting your circumstances, your feelings, or the enemy set the agenda for what your mind meditates on all day long. There is a massive and life-changing difference between those two approaches that most people have never been taught clearly. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The word transformed there is metamorphio in Greek, the same root as metamorphosis, the complete transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. God is not asking you to manage your old mind better. He is offering to completely transform it into something new through the consistent, disciplined, daily practice of thinking what He has told you to think. One command, 8 categories, one mind, one life completely transformed from the inside out.